Tom Hardy and Venom have just stormed the big screen with the highly anticipated Marvel movie. We saw the big bad go up against the symbiote known as Riot in the film. We know our favorite Marvel anti-hero has destroyed quite a few people over the decades, whether it be in the main comic book timeline or in one of the countless other realities. So strap in and prepare to feast. Before we get to all the good stuff, be sure to click on that subscribe button and the notification bell to stay up to date with everything Screen Rant. Harry Osborn. Tom Hardy may be playing Venom, but he's not the first actor to play the alien symbiote on the big screen. While most of us would probably like to forget it altogether, Topher Grace did play Eddie Brock in Spider-Man 3, and eventually became Venom in the finale of that movie. It's ironic then that one of the most underdeveloped characters in Sam Raimi's trilogy would take out one of the most developed characters. Yep, Venom was responsible for the death of Harry Osborn in the movie, although we wish it was the other way around. And the death of Harry was eerily similar to the passing of his father, Norman Osborn, in the first film. Carnage. Aside from Venom, everyone's second favorite symbiote is, of course, Carnage. He's really the convicted mass murderer Cletus Cassidy, so he's the last person you want playing host to an alien symbiote that gives you superpowers. Of course, this happens, and Carnage goes on a horrible killing spree. With or without the help of his frenemy Spider-Man, Venom usually loses the battle with Carnage. So he decided to start playing by his own rules. He ambushed Carnage in a symbiote prison and ate the symbiote right off of Cassidy after tearing it from its host. Venom really likes eating people, doesn't he? His ex-wife. Believe it or not, Venom used to be married, or rather Eddie Brock used to be married. Her name was Anne Wang, and she was a pretty successful lawyer. But their marriage would take a dark turn after the symbiote would begin obsessing over Spider-Man. Brock would be blaming the web-slinger for all his shortcomings to the point where Anne filed for divorce. After being shot, Brock bonds the symbiote with her to save her, only she turns into a crazed and murderous Venom. Wrecked with guilt over her crimes, she eventually jumps out of a window due to the life Eddie gave her. Eddie, of course, blamed Spider-Man. Thor. Thanks to the power of the Marvel Multiverse, we can have awesome scenarios like this one that would otherwise be impossible. This one takes place in what's called Earth 90211 and is where the Venom Pool arc takes place. Yep, you heard that right. The Venom symbiote fused with Deadpool in the 80s to give us this craziness. He was initially partying it up with the Beyonders, but once that magic faded, Wade tried resuming his initial contract on them. He ended up killing Thor, of all people, in the men's bathroom at a Venom Pool movie premiere. Thanos. Thanos may be the Mad Titan who killed half of the MCU, but that doesn't mean that he's exempt from the wrath of Venom. Thanos is pretty terrifying in that he believes so passionately that he is right and that he wields extreme power. Now picture that with the Venom symbiote, as Thanos at one point gets venomized, which is the name of the comic book run that has this terrifying version of Thanos. Since the symbiote is the one controlling Thanos here, we're gonna give this one to Venom as he was able to take over one of the biggest bads in the entire history of Marvel. Wilson Fisk. Wilson Fisk is making a comeback in Season 3 of Daredevil, but the kingpin of crime has brushed shoulders with many people in the Marvel Universe. Or rather, we should say, in the multiverse, because this is a comic book source material, and there are countless different realities happening at the same time. So when we say that Venom killed off a version of the Kingpin who had Doc Ock's arms, that was a thing. He also seemingly killed off a version of the Kingpin who was the leader of the Kuji-Kuri. That Kingpin hired Venom to kill off any remaining members of the Spider Clan, but when Venom failed, he went after Kingpin instead. Scream. Not to be confused with the horror movie of the same name, Scream was one of the 5 Life Foundation symbiotes that were created by Eddie Brock's Venom symbiote. Of the 5, however, she's the only one not to get fused into Hybrid. Scream would go on to become a real menace to society for years, and eventually Eddie Brock decides enough is enough. Without the help of his own Venom symbiote, he traps Scream with a sonic device and uses a knife to end her life in a still that's very horror movie inspired. Hybrid. At one point, the Life Foundation attached the alien symbiote to 4 mercenaries because, well, that sounded like a good idea. A 5th host was a guard named Scott Washington, who showed the hosts kindness. When Scream, the female supervillain, killed the hosts, the symbiotes all rallied together and fused with Scott to become Hybrid. Hybrid would become a violent but well-meaning vigilante in Brooklyn. He fought crime but took some pretty extreme actions, which caught the eye of Eddie Brock, who was on a crusade to rid the world of symbiotes. Despite Hybrid's good intentions, Brock guns him down. Spider-Man. What's worse than Venom? Venom who becomes fused with another supervillain, that's what. Which is exactly what happened in the Beyond miniseries, when Venom's symbiote fused with Scorpion, aka Mac Gargan. In the series, a bunch of superheroes and villains get teleported off-planet by a group called the Beyonders, who state that it's now kill or be killed, not unlike Battle Royale. Venom instantly makes a beeline for Spider-Man, and thanks to his scorpion tail, succeeds. For a short while, Venom basked in the glory, only to realize the Spider-Man was an imposter, so technically he killed a Spider-Man. Hijacker. We've talked a lot about Eddie Brock here, as Tom Hardy is currently playing the man behind the alien goop, but he's not the only person to become Venom. Another prominent Venom in the comics is Flash Thompson, who last showed up on screen in Spider-Man Homecoming. He witnessed Hijacker robbing a bank, killing a guard, and shortly after, a mother and son in the escape. Flash promises to stop further bloodshed and stalks Hijacker, torturing him before biting his head clean off and spitting it back out. What's with Venom and biting people? So, Venom is out in cinemas. What did you think of the movie? Were you put off by the reviews, or were you there right away on day one? Who would you like to see Venom destroy next, and is there any hope that Tom Hardy will cross paths with Tom Holland in the future? Let us know what you think, and be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this in your playlist every day. Thanks for watching.